Hello everybody, my name is Maddie and I'm just gonna share with you guys my ongoing cancer journey and some chemo tips. And I just want to introduce myself. I've been really bored as of lately and I just thought it would be fun to make YouTube videos. So just to start off, I'm gonna introduce little facts about me. My full name is Madison, but most people just call me Maddie. I am 19 years old, born February 25th. I know I look young. Many people tell me that. Yeah, many people tell me that. I am obsessed with mermaids. I have a mermaid tattoo actually. And I love this tattoo so much with my whole entire heart. My favorite color is pink and I love green. Any shade of those colors I love entirely. Yeah, that's some facts about myself. Now, to get started with my cancer journey, which I'm still going through on this day, I have a notebook right here, so I wrote everything down so I don't forget. I have a cancer called synovial sarcoma. It originated in my hip, and then it metastasized. I cannot say that word. Metastasized, which means it spread into my lungs, which is not good. Not good. I was diagnosed October 2022 when I was 17. I was in pain in my hip and nerve for a year before I went to the doctors, which I'm not going to get into that. Why it took so long, but yeah. When I went to the doctors, finally they did an x-ray and then they recommended me to go to Shands Hospital, which is where I get treated currently. They're amazing. I love my doctors a lot. I love my doctors. But the doctor saw that it was a tumor and he did a biopsy on me. By the way, I was awake for that biopsy. It hurt so bad. Like he was stabbing a thing into my bone and I don't even know, like awful. The next few days later, they had me do a PET scan and they saw that it spread into my lungs, which was probably the most traumatizing day of my life. No, not even probably. It was the most traumatizing. So yeah, that was basically how I found out about the cancer. Nobody knows how the cancer even happened. It's not hereditary. With synovial sarcoma or any sarcoma, I believe it might be caused by injury. And I don't know, ever since I was 12 years old, I've always had a little tender spot in my leg. And I don't know if like an injury happened and then it made it become alive. But yeah, that's how I found out about the cancer, was because I had a lot of leg pain. So if I never had the leg pain, I probably would have never even found out that I had it in the first place. I hated the pain, but the outcome was good because we found out that I had it. Now, to get into some treatments that I've been through, I was bald for a lot of months, which I will get into that. I will also get into why I have hair right now, which a lot of people don't really understand. When it comes to cancer, not everybody loses their hair. This is the treatments I went through in order. I did ifosfamide plus doxorubicin at the same time. Those are 2 chemotherapies, very aggressive, but I went through a lot of bad side effects. I will later in this video explain some things that I did to help myself get through the side effects. My rounds were every 3 weeks, 3 days in a row for about 6 months. November 2022 through April 2023. On top of the chemo, the whole month of December and beginning of January, I did 25 weekdays of radiation on my hip tumor. I did eventually do radiation on my lungs, but the month of December and January, the beginning of January, I did it on my hip, and I basically lived in a hotel for the whole month of December. I came home on the weekends, but like I basically lived in that hotel. It was not that great. I didn't like doing that because I like the comfort of my bed. A couple months after, I did do lung radiation, which was only 2 weeks. It wasn't 25 treatments. It was only 2 weeks. And then they also did more radiation on my hip. In April, I finished my chemo dosage of the ifosfamide and doxorubicin, and I had 5 months of dead nodules in my lungs. So the radiation and chemo, it did kill the nodules. Like in my PET scan, they showed that they were dead. My hip tumor was dead. And yeah, which was fun. I didn't have to do any treatments for 5 months. But the 5th month, on September, my nodules shown activity. So I had to start a new treatment. That treatment was called Votrient. This treatment was not chemo, technically not chemo. It acted kind of similar to chemo, but it was not chemo. It was a pill that I took nightly, 4 pills each night. The doctors recommended nighttime because you could sleep through like the side effects, which I hated doing Votrient because the side effects were constant. Like I never had no breaks. It was awful. But the plus side of being on Votrient was that I didn't lose my hair. I actually got to grow my hair back, which is why I have hair right now. But the hair turned white. So I had white hair, which, okay, it wasn't that bad. I also have white eyebrows. Even now I have white eyebrows, but I filled them in. My eyelashes turned white. Everything turned white, which was insane. But it was better than having no hair for me. I really like having hair. But basically the way that Votrient works is it blocks proteins of cancer cells to destroy them. I was on Votrient for 6 months. I'm not taking Votrient anymore, which I'll get into it in a second. My nodules, they were stable for the whole time, even shrunk a little bit. And that was through September 2023 through March 2024, which March was literally last month. So we'll get into what happened. So being on Votrient gave me pneumothorax, like 3 pneumothoraxes, not at the same time. If you don't know what a pneumothorax is, it's basically a air leak between the chest wall and your lung. So it like deflates your lung, and it's really disturbing to think about. And then I had to get it drained with a chest tube. The 3rd one, the last pneumothorax I had to get it drained. The other ones healed on their own, but the last one I had, it was too big, and I was having really bad side effects, like hard to breathe and like all that. And let me tell you guys, that was such an awful experience. I could not move. The chest tube like was in my rib cage and into my lung, which was so awful. I hated it so bad. I couldn't get up by myself. They took the chest tube out while I was awake. When I was recovering after the chest tube, it was like taking a toll on my body. I could not get out of my bed without my mom's assistance, and it was just awful. But when they saw my pneumothorax, they also noticed that my lung nodules, they started growing just a wee bit, like a millimeter, they said. If I didn't have the pneumothorax, I probably wouldn't have known that it was growing for another 2 months. Because I just did scans before it. So, like, it was insane how quick that happened. During last month, my doctors, they were like, you need to start a new treatment. The treatment that I'm currently doing is a chemotherapy called trabectedin. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it that well because I just started it. This is another IV chemo. I have my port right here. The first 2 chemos I did were IV. I've only completed 1 round so far. It's been like 2 weeks since I completed it. My next round is April 15th, which is coming up. So this chemo is also every 3 weeks, but instead of it being 3 days in a row, I only have to do it for 1 day, which is better because I hated doing 3 days in a row. I had to be admitted for my first chemos. That's all the chemos that I've done, and that's how long that I've been doing them for. I was 17 when I started, I'm now 19. So I've had a lot of chemo side effects, treatment side effects in general. And now I'm gonna get into some chemo advice that I have. And I just wanted to just say that if you're starting chemo, you just found out that you have cancer, or you just found out you have an illness of some kind, yes, it is scary. It is traumatizing. It probably will be the most traumatizing day of your life. If you're like me, it was my most traumatizing day. A lot of people, they have the mentality that it won't happen to you. That's how I used to think. I used to think that I would never get cancer or an illness of any kind, which I was wrong, because it definitely happened to me. But I promise you that eventually it really does get better. You will start getting used to the idea of you having it. But yes, I understand how scary it is. And I just wanted to state that. And if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. I will gladly talk to you. Some chemo advice that I have is to drink plenty of water or fluids of any kind, because you need to flush your body to get rid of all the toxins. It will make you feel so much better, I promise. Like with chemo, when you do it, it's like when you pee or throw up, you're getting rid of all the toxins in your body. It's a good thing to do those things, even though throwing up is not fun, but it's getting rid of the poison in your body. It's kind of like if you get food poisoning. Chemo is a lot like food poisoning. I don't know. That's just a random thought that I have. Just stay hydrated in general, especially if you're throwing up a bunch, because when you throw up, you lose fluids in itself. So just stay hydrated. Drink Gatorade, water. Make sure to get a lot of electrolytes with Gatorade or like Pedialyte, because you really need that when you're throwing up, which is probably like a common knowledge, but yeah. If you are super nauseous during rounds, take nausea medicine as scheduled. The medicines that I use is Zofran and Ativan and Phenergan. They help me a lot. I take them stacked. My doctors say that you can stack the medicines if needed, if you're really nauseous. But with Zofran, I think mine is, I take it every 8 hours. Phenergan is in every 6 hours, I think. With Ativan, it works really good with nausea for me. It's technically an anxiety medicine, but it really helps me a lot with nausea. So if you're feeling nauseous and you want to ask your doctors for like something to try, ask for Ativan, because it's my favorite to use for nausea. Another thing that can help with nausea is smelling alcohol pads. My nurses taught me that. Like just putting it under your nose can help. Or peppermints can help too. Peppermints don't really help me, but I heard that they help a lot of people. So, and if you aren't keeping food down, let your doctors know. I know like it would suck to get a feeding tube, but if you can't keep food down, you still need to nourish your body. You can't let the chemo like do that to you. You need to make sure you're eating. And another thing, don't worry about healthy diets. If you crave something, eat it. Because in this moment, you need to make sure you are nourished. Like, if you're craving McDonald's, eat McDonald's. It's good to be healthy in general with foods, but you need to eat anything that your mind will crave. Just like with fluids, you need to keep down. Yeah, I cannot stress that enough. Don't worry about diets. Just eat whatever you can. Now, with hair loss, it absolutely sucks. I hated being bald. But wigs can be nice as well as headwear. I used to wear wigs occasionally, and I used to wear a lot of headscarves. And there's some companies that donate wigs and headscarves to people who have cancer. I'm not really sure about what the companies are. I forgot because it was so long ago when I used them. So get yourself some free stuff. With me personally, my side effects happen the week after my chemo round, which that's when it's the worst. I have a lot of nausea, a lot of weakness, vomiting, fatigue, and GI issues. I get low blood labs as well, because chemo, it really messes with your platelets. Not just your platelets, your blood. It really messes with your blood labs, like hemoglobin, platelets, all of those things. Sometimes I used to need transfusions for blood or platelets a lot. I would get headaches, weakness, bruising, just overall not feeling well. If you're going through chemo, it's gonna happen to you. If you notice that you're having signs of headaches, bruising, bleeding easily, like if you're getting nosebleeds or anything like that, make sure to tell your doctors. I think with my doctors, I get my blood labs done every week when I'm on a chemo. So just so they make sure that I'm where I need to be. Because transfusions can help a lot. They're not like permanent, but they do help out and they can make you feel a lot better. So yeah. Another thing that I wanted to say is that if your body is telling you that you need rest, or if it's just very weak, then rest. Don't overpower yourself. You don't need to do that. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself and resting as much as you can. Chemo is a really mean thing to be on, but it's gonna help out in the long run, making sure that you're okay. Okay, so that's basically everything that I wanted to go over in this video. That was my journey of cancer and how I'm still going on it. We're not sure if I'm gonna lose my hair again. My doctor said it might just thin out or I might lose it. If I lose it again, that's gonna completely suck and I'm gonna be upset about it. But losing my hair is better than the alternative. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future. I'm going to be making a lot because I'm bored at home and I literally have nothing else to do. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.